Hey, hello everyone. As an English teacher here at the university, I just want to ask you, how do you honestly feel about English education in Japanese universities? Like, maybe some of you are thinking, English? Not really my thing. Or, ugh, I'd rather just avoid it if I can. I mean, think about it. We've all studied English for, like, years and years, right? But still, so many of you, especially when it comes to speaking, end up feeling this discomfort. Maybe even a kind of dislike. And that feeling, yeah, it often sticks with you even after you get into university. So naturally, it gets harder to really engage with English. And what about your university English classes? Maybe you're still stuck with those old-school textbook-heavy methods, huh? If that's the case, then yeah, it's tough to develop real communication skills. To be honest, even we teachers sometimes feel a bit, unmotivated. Teaching English isn't always treated as a real academic field, and that makes things harder, structurally speaking. So what happens? A lot of students graduate without the English ability they need, for research or for the workplace. You kind of feel like something's missing, don't you? But still, there's not a lot of momentum out there to actually change how English is taught at the university level. And honestly, I think that's a real problem. So you might be wondering, how did things get like this? Well, honestly, a big part of it goes way back. Like, historically far back. Since the Meiji era, Japan has really focused on decoding tough foreign texts to absorb Western knowledge. And over time, that mindset made people think that reading complicated stuff equals academic success. So English got treated, kind of mistakenly, as this academic subject in itself. And yeah, that's how reading became the #1 priority, way ahead of actually using the language. Plus, let's not forget, the huge difference between Japanese and Western languages, that made it super hard to train teachers who could really use English fluently. Even before World War II, the old school system focused on translation and reading for university prep. And after the war, that same approach was carried over into university liberal arts programs. And honestly, it's still hanging around in general education classes today. That style shaped the entrance exams too. So even though elementary to high schools say they're working on communication skills, well, change is slow. Because as long as university entrance exams are all about reading, that's where the focus stays. And yeah, as a result, a lot of students lost their chance to practice speaking. The gap between English and Japanese is so wide, and it's made English feel almost scary, confusing, frustrating. But at its core, English is supposed to be a tool for academics, for work, for connecting with people, and reforms that reflect that idea, honestly, they haven't really taken off. And here's the thing, we haven't really addressed the psychological side either. Like the fear of making mistakes. For many Japanese speakers, that fear is huge, and it's not often talked about. So yeah, this whole situation isn't about individual effort. It's the result of history, of systems and habits built up over time. And that's something we really need to recognize first. Okay, so here's the hopeful part. Once we understand how we got here, the way forward becomes a lot clearer. The real problem isn't your English ability, it's the way English has been taught in Japan. We really need to shift how we think about English. First of all, please, stop thinking of English as just another subject you study. It's not like math or history. English is a skill, more like playing the guitar or learning to swim. And just like any skill, you need practice. You need repetition, not just memorization. And since Japanese and English are so different, translating everything word for word? Yeah, that just slows you down. What we really need to focus on is the foundation of language, sound. For native Japanese speakers, English sounds can be super tricky. And honestly, that's exactly where we need to put our energy. Because mastering the sound of a language isn't about studying, it's about training. Physically. Think of it like learning to play the piano. You wouldn't expect to get good just by reading a music theory book, right? You actually have to play. Same with English. You need to train your mouth, your tongue, your vocal cords to make those sounds. And the great thing is, you don't need a gym or a fancy instrument. Your own voice is all you need. So what does that training look like? You just read aloud. You look at the words, listen to an example, and copy it. That's it. You just try to make the sounds with your voice. And when you do that consistently, over time, you start building new neural circuits in your brain. These are the circuits that help you hear and produce English naturally. Without those circuits, listening and speaking will always feel hard. Even reading and writing will be slower. But once you've built them, everything becomes smoother, faster, easier. The sad thing is, this step has been skipped in most English education in Japan. And that's a big reason why so many of you have struggled, even after years of studying. But here's the good news. If you train those audio processing circuits, you can get good at English. It's not magic. It's just how the brain works. So even if you feel skeptical, like, I've tried everything, just give this a try. Now you understand why other methods didn't work, and you've got a simple, clear approach. If you stick with it, your English will definitely improve. So let's get started, okay?